flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll have the roll call.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Here.
Councilor Anthony? Here. Councilor Greco?
Here.
Councilor Haggerty?
Here.
Councilor Arnold?
Here.
Highway Superintendent Moyer?
Here.
And Deputy Supervisor Okonowski.
Here.
Okay, I'd like to motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meetings. That's November 11th, November 19th, November 25th.
I'll make that
Have a
motion.
mo-
I'll second it.
Discussion on that? I did have one correction. I was explaining at the work session about the new system with the justice money. And they give me the checks, I deposit the money. The New York State court system bills the town. They don't take it
they don't.
electronically.
Okay.
They just bill the town, and then I have to cut them a check and send it to them. So that's just to clarify that. Anything else?
I'm just trying to.
You said it was against it? Maybe
No,
Right.
Ruth, you going to call the roll?
Okay. Councilor Anthony? Yes. Councilor Greco?
yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Councilor Haggerty?
Yes.
Councilor Arnold?
Yes.
Thank you. I am still so psyched. I went to the governor's news conference this afternoon. I expect if you've had the
TV.
television on, you got the reports of what his announcement was this afternoon, but it's such good news. It's such a good Christmas gift for this whole area. The two chocolate companies are ready to be up and rolling. They expect to be making chocolate bars by the summer. And the property that Sunoco is leaving is going to be taken up by a company called Spear USA, I believe it is. And they print labels for food packaging. Altogether, we're talking 633 jobs, which is even more than we had before. So it's just marvelous news. And everybody is elated about it. Everything appears to be in good order, and very hopeful it will carry on. One of the companies has already hired a couple of management people and is taking applications. The New York Chocolate and Confection Company, I think that one is. It's the one that processes the cocoa. So everyone was so thrilled that there's been a lot of hard work to bring this to pass, and they studied the environment. Apparently there's no major problems. They took care of one problem that they found, and there's a lot of positives to say about the whole thing. So I came back here, and Ruth knows I was just bouncing right up and down. Old business, the fuel bids.
Yes, we've received two fuel bids, from two different companies. One's from Glider Oil, and I'm going to read the markup because the rack price changes daily on those. So for 18,000 gallons of low sulfur on-road winterized diesel fuel, this is from Glider Oil, it would be 0.07 is the markup. On 5,000 gallons of number 2 fuel oil, it would be 0.08. And for 8,500 gallons of unleaded gasoline, and supply a 300 gallon skid tank and electric pump, it would be 0.10. and from Babcock Oil. The first one with the 18,000 gallons of low sulfur on-road winterized diesel fuel, it would be .0775 on the markup. On number 2 fuel oil, it would be .0775. And on the unleaded gasoline, it would be .10, same as the other.
Okay.
Very similar. Lynn, have you had a chance to review these?
Yes, excuse me. For the low sulfur diesel, glider would be the low bidder on that, as we were last year. The heating fuel for the building, Babcock is low on that, as they were again last year. And the gas price is even. Gliders had it for the last few years. I think primarily we left it with glider because they have their tank out there and their pump out there, and if we change the gliders, it means pulling that tank out and transferring the product and setting up the new pump and that type of thing. So at the time it was just easy to go with glider. That would be my recommendation, yeah.
We've been with them for a few years, haven't we?
They both give us excellent service.
They do. Well, what would you like to do, folks?
Go along with the highway superintendent's recommendation, first.
To
Glider,
award the diesel, on-road diesel to Glider, the heating oil to
Babcock,
Babcock,
and the gas to
and the
Glider.
unleaded gas to
Because of the
Glider.
pump system, right? Rather than change it.
Okay. Any discussion? Any more discussion?
Any more discussion?
No?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Counselor Anthony?
Yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Still thinking about chocolate bars. Okay. You do have, I put in your mailboxes, the proposed agreement that the two attorneys have been working on and come up with for the
Yeah, I got it. That's what I did.
transfer of the sewer line from the school district to the town. It's an excellent agreement, and the school district will be looking at this on Saturday, and the city of Fulton also has to approve, and they will look at it next Tuesday. But I think if we can get our approval over with tonight, you want to have a chance to look at it a little bit?
I read mine on the table. I've read through it.
Don't you think you should read all of this?
Oh, I don't think so.
Why
It's all
not?
legalese. Our attorneys has, looked at it. I can summarize what it says. The total,
It only
Purchase-
affects these people down there anyways.
right, it only affects those
It
people in
only
that
affects the
district.
people on
Um,
West River Road.
Yeah.
I know, but don't you think other people would like to know what's going on?
Well, I'd like to be sure the whole thing is done before we publicize it too much, but it's an agreement that says for $16,000 that the town would take over. It allows for a payment schedule, because for number one, the school district does not want the money all at one time, and number two, the people who live in that district have other debts to pay off, so we arranged a sliding scale, whereas it would, $1,000 total, not the payment for the first couple of years, and then goes to $2,000 and then $3,000.
Nancy, don't they have to finish paying for what they're on now?
Yes, they do.
They've got to finish paying on what they're on now, and then they've
Yes.
got to pick, they're going to be, you're
No,
dub-
I worked out all the numbers.
you're
and
double dipping to these people.
We can't help that. They have to pay off what they have now. You want to keep what they have now?
No, they should, but there should be
There's
some.
there's nothing we can do about a debt. It's just like if you own a car and you got
Didn't
a
a
mortgage on it, or
Wouldn't a grant help them or something?
we are getting a grant.
And it's not going to help those people?
Yes.
How?
$28,000, and that will go toward the hookup costs, digging that ditch from here to there. And filling in the pit and so forth properly.
So what are you doing for the people to help them pay up their first debt? They got a debt they're
They
paying
do,
now.
I know that.
Because
What are we
buying
doing
pumps
to
all
help
the time.
them, pay it
What
up?
I think we should do eventually, after we get through this first couple of years, is to pay that off, because we're only paying like $750 total principal a year, and that's a very
I
slow
don't know,
way.
I've got a blockage here. Maybe you could explain something to me. They took a 20-year payment, 20-year,
40-year.
40-year, whatever. And they're still paying on their first
It's
For the
like
s-
if you bought a car,
for the system they've got now, and they're still paying on it. So we're gonna come up with this, and they're gonna have to pay this, plus pay what they're paying now for the mess they got now. I mean, these people are gonna be whipped out.
I worked it all out. I spent hours and hours pushing the pencil to work it out so that the payments are reasonable payments, and they will decline to a very small amount after a few years.
Well, I hope you have a meeting with all the people that's gonna connect into it before you do anything.
We have been working on this for months and months and months, and it's an excellent, I don't want to let this go.
I agree with this, but don't you think you should talk to
Oh, at some
those,
point, I want to
a
explain.
public hearing with
We're-
these people
Oh,
that,
yeah, we're gonna,
You know.
we've been buying pumps, we're spending $2,000-3,000 a year on that thing all the time, that's why they stay in debt.
This is by far the cheapest way to go. I mean, if we just keep buying pumps, we'll be just far more money than this is what we're investing.
well, the town should help those people some way. I don't care how. I mean,
Well, that's where the grants come
double
from.
payments, you won't want double payments on your sewer.
But that's where that grants come from.
If you own a car, and the car gets all rusty, but you still owe the bank, you still gotta pay that bank. If the car doesn't run anymore, you still gotta pay the bank.
This is nothing like a
You
car,
know.
Nancy.
So, well, it is. That's why I'm trying to explain the financial arrangement. There's nothing we can do about that. We have done a whole lot. We have gone from over $100,000 down to $16,000. I think we've done a whole lot for the folks there.
We've been trying to do this for how many years? 4 or 5? Trying to get all that water line.
Oh, I
So,
agree with it,
since I've
but
been here.
I feel bad for the people that's going
Well, I
to.
don't think it's as bad. If you look at the numbers and you
We'll
come
work
in, I
out a
can show
deal.
them to you.
I hope
sometime.
so, all right.
They wanna
After
be
a few
involved.
years, it goes down to a fairly small amount, and I think there's ways that in the future, I won't be here, but someone could renegotiate that to, so that they're paying off the principal and not paying so much interest.
When this all goes through, they got a light at the end of the tunnel here now, where they never had before. It's constantly, every year we turn around, a
Like
couple
you
$1,000
said,
for
they
But
pumps.
there's nothing we can get a grant on because it's a dead horse. We can get a grant to connect to the new system,
Right, that's where the grant money comes in, so you don't have to pay for that.
yeah, so. Any other discussion on this? I'm still crossing my fingers and toes because, like I say, the school district has to approve it, and the city has a right to give their approval because that was part of their agreement with the school district. But,
So we still ain't getting out of the woods yet. The lawyers agree, but we don't know if they...
They're still paying on the first system, and
No, I
then the
meant to
second
disagree.
system comes up. It's gonna be tough to
well, you
show.
can't wait another 20 years till
No,
they pay off the
no,
first one.
I know, but I wish the town could help them better.
Well, I think we are helping them in a very good way here, because actually, we wanted so badly to do something that's going to permanently solve the problem down there. And
We just bought a pump
The other
a few
way
months
that-
ago, remember? We bought a pump a few months ago.
I know it.
I don't want to get ahead of things, but there's a possibility other people down there, in fact, there are at least a few people that I know want to
Okay.
become part of the district or part of a new district, and so that will lessen the cost also.
Okay. I just don't want the,
Someone wanna
they
make
have
this
40 years to
resolution?
pay for their system, and they're still paying for it, Vince.
Oh, we can't help this old debt, you know.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
You wanna make this resolution? I wrote it
Oh,
out.
you got a resolution written?
Pretty much.
Oh, all right, right there, all right. Okay, new business, resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign the agreement regarding transfer of the Fulton School District sewer line on Route 48 North to the town of Granby. Said agreement is drafted by our attorney in the school district.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Ruth, call the roll.
Counselor Anthony?
Oh. We just hope it becomes a done deal anyway.
Does
Say,
it,
We've done
do you say anything
We
here?
worked hard at it.
It's about 7 years they'll pay this part off.
Summer 3,000 per year.
If I looked at it correctly,
Right.
7 years, about 7 years to pay this off. Here's my copy of it. Oh, underneath it. I knew I brought it with me.
No one else shall be permitted to tie into this or connect into this later on?
That's not what it says.
Unless authorized by the
Number
town
eight.
or the
Unless
city.
authorized.
No other person, individual shall be permitted to tie into or connect with the sewer lines existing or later installed to this agreement
Unless, let's say,
without the written consent of the town. or
right,
the
we
city.
would have
Okay.
to do that, the city would have to do that, because
Okay,
if maybe the city's treatment plant couldn't take any more people.
okay. You are,
She's voting. Are you-
Counselor Anthony?
You are going to talk to those people.
Oh, yeah, that's
At some
down.
point, yeah.
We just hope this agreement goes through. We don't know yet. We're the first ones to accept
I'm
it.
not gonna bring them in before we sign the agreement. This is too tenuous as it is. But,
This could blow up on our face, though. I hope it don't. It won't.
All right, I'm for the sewer down there, yes, but, all right, I'll say yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
yes,
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
okay. I lost my agenda.
How many more years do they have to pay on the old one yet?
16, I think.
16 more years to pay on the old? Oh, my God.
That was the way it was set up. It was a terrible way to set it up, but that's what happens when you do business with, well, it used to be called Farmers Home Administration. They do it that way to keep the costs down,
Well,
but
they pay 700, was it 700 or 800 bucks a year they
they
pay?
only pay $750 a month in the principal. They pay much more than that in interest, so it's a bad deal. So I think
Tell me about it.
we need to, but because they've had so many repairs, we haven't been able to pay extra on the principal to reverse that situation.
40 years is a long time to take something like this and then
That's the way they do them.
something else is put on your back.
You know, we've had,
I don't know.
it's been a sorry situation down there. Just Band-Aid solutions, and finally we have
We hope it-
I think a final solution, a good solution.
This goes way back to Jim was trying to do.
Mr. Cervello called, and he's tied up with budget meetings, and so he sent his regrets. He really was trying to get here, but he ended up having to go back to Oswego and go to some more meetings, so. I have a report from the dog control officer. Number of complaints, 47. Number of dogs picked up, 4. Number of dogs died or destroyed were 0. Number of dogs released, 5. Number of dogs on hand, 4. Food was donated. Supplies were $1.93. Ads were $4. Monthly mileage was 452 miles. Impoundment fees were $10 and adoption fees were $20. That's from Gail Callen. I have Assessors, we're having, people are coming in, especially the seniors who are headed south, are coming in doing their star exemption. Historian, I don't have anything right now. Planning board. ZBA,
And no activity. Last month was, meeting was canceled, no applications. And haven't had any-
since we took away that special use permit, you're not so busy, so. Planning board did something, and I can't remember what it was. I saw the report, they approved of a site plan for someone. Oh, I know, it was the ATM for Fulton Savings Bank. It was approved with some qualifications, that they leave enough room for travel around it. Highway superintendent.
By November, we need to be ready to plow, because last year we started plowing November 1st. Luckily, this year it was the 13th. We had a almost 2-week window there, so that gave us a chance to really do some repairs that we hadn't had a chance to do throughout the season, and been cutting some more trees and trying to get the roadsides cleaned up. We finished mixing and piling the salt and sand mixture that we used on the roads this winter. As I stated last month, we've had a lot of sign damage because of the winds, and we're still getting the winds, and had more repairs to make in that area. November, we picked up 2 roadkill animals. We had 4 deer carcasses and 550 pounds of trash that was dumped on the roadsides. Carcasses, this time of year we get those because people tend to process in the basement and they don't know what to do with the leftovers, I guess, so we get it.
Lord.
We were called to an oil spill on Rathburn Road, put some sand down on that. I received the copy of the snow and ice agreement back from Oswego County that we talked about here last month or the month before. And the sections of Merritt fence, I don't know if you're all aware of it or not, but there was a project going on there a couple years ago, and they took part of the fence down to make repair, and it never got put back up, and there's been some complaints on it. So we finally went and picked it up, and we're going to store it until spring, and then we'll put it up ourselves, so make sure it gets back up.
Good.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Have anything particular with code enforcement or zoning? I have provided the town board with the activity reports for the month of,
Nancy, can I ask you
November?
something about the code enforcers?
what?
This is my last meeting and I just gotta speak up. Down the road from me is an Okefenokee swamp. And our code, how did they ever get a permit to put a couple loads of dirt in there and build a pole barn? And I understand they're gonna put a mobile home next to it. And isn't there a law about swamp and wetlands? Don't we have some kind of code that you
Why don't you
can't?
go in and ask the code enforcement officer? I don't know, I'm not familiar with the situation. I wouldn't have the answer to that.
You should be on top of it.
I don't know every person, we're doing twice as many permits.
You
as-
must pass it right down the road.
I've seen it, but I didn't realize it was a swamp.
Well, they were, swamp, it's Okefenokee swamp. And they were building the water was coming over the 2 loads of dirt when they were building the barn, the garage. How are they gonna put a leach field if they put a mobile in there?
I don't know, you'd have to talk to the code speaker
Wow.
and find out. And they wouldn't be able to put a leach field in if the engineer.
Listen, you know how you operate? Well, you go see the code enforcer. They go see the people and say, well, Miss Anthony turned you in. Well, it's not my job. It's not me to be the
I can be
bad
a-
guy in here.
I can be the go-between if you wish, but,
Pardon?
you know, you brought it up at a public meeting. I didn't know that you wanted to be anonymous about it.
It shouldn't be my job to come in and tell you. It should be there. How did they get a permit? That's wetland so bad. Nancy, you know it's wetland.
I don't know that. I seldom go down that road.
Oh,
I just
God.
remember seeing
They're
the
gonna put a
pole barn.
mobile home, and where's the leach field going into swamplands with a mobile home? How are they allowing this? My question to you is, How are we allowing this?
What road is
Ask
this
the
on?
codes officer whether they
Right on
comply
that road
with all
down there.
I don't know, because I don't stand over them. And I did ask them if that pole barn got a permit, because I saw it there. So, I did that much.
Is that County Route 8?
3, going towards Fulton on the left-hand side. The guy putting it up is a friend of mine, and he said, Rosie, the water was coming right over the drive. They only put 2 loads of dirt in there, and now they said they're gonna put a mobile home or something. How do you put leach field in a swamp?
No, they have to get, their engineer has to certify that it's a place that will, has the perk test, and also deep hole test is required nowadays.
It's wet.
Well, they're gonna have problems, I think. You sure they're gonna put a mobile in there?
I heard they're
Well,
gonna,
that's,
I heard
you
they
know,
were, I don't know, I don't
People
know.
need to look
It's
into
not my
that before they
job.
do it, so.
I'm not a code enforcer.
Well, I don't know enough. You gotta go to school for about a year or more, just to learn what to do.
Okay, where were we? I was starting to tell you, I've given you the report for the month of November, and we're in pretty good shape for the end of the year. And I also, getting ready to close out the books in the end of the year and so forth. There's a lot to do at the end of the year because there's changeover, changes in here's the holding tables, the whole works.
Going for the gas station.
On the left?
Ruth, do you have anything particular?
We're very quiet right now, we're just waiting for the taxes.
Good. I don't think anyone wants to see the taxes, but they'll come. Do we have any other liaison reports?
I have no other report.
What I'm going to recommend to the new board is we've never had anything. By the time we get to this point, I think we'll just take that off the agenda because we've already talked about all the things that we want to talk about in terms of committees and so forth. Would you agree?
Fine.
Okay, we do have to make some transfers. I can read these if it's easier because I'm used to the numbers. I'd like to make a resolution. These are current year budget transfers. $1,500 from Justice Clerk, that's 1110.102A to 1110.103A, Justice Clerk part-time. That's just moving from one account where there's money left over to one account where they're short. And the reason they're short is they've been training a person to fill in case of when they need, someone's out sick or on vacation or so forth. And $975 from general contingency, number 1990.4A to general retirement account, 9010.8A. And I told you that was coming, but that's all that we're short on that one, so we're not too far off the mark. Highway gets 2/3 of that bill because 2/3 of the salaries or wages go to highway people. So they need $3,200 from the highway. In this case, it would be unexpended funds to the highway retirement account, 9010.8 DA. And I've done the worksheet that shows that we can do that legally. And $225 from general contingency, 1990.4A to general unemployment account number 9050.8A. Unemployment went up this year significantly. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it went up, I think it was 0.4 or something, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're only talking of 1 point something, a 0.4 is a substantial increase. I think we went from 1.0 to 1.4 or something like that. So
It's gotta be close.
we come out short on that one. Hopefully that will
50 cents an hour,
go back down. I don't know.
40 cents an hour.
But
Now that money,
no, that's the resolution.
that money for the highways, that come out of there, the expenditures?
They're unexpended funds.
Right, okay. I'll make that resolution.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Please call the roll.
Counselor Anthony?
Yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes.
Counselor Haggerty?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Let's pay the town bills. We got auditors. Sorry, right.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of the town bills as audited for abstract 12A in the amounts of $16,267.67 from general funds, $24,713.20 from highway fund, and $84.40 from Willabog Light District.
I'll second it.
Okay. Please call the roll, please.
Counselor Anthony?
Yes.
Counselor Greco?
Yes.
Supervisor Hawthorne?
Yes,
Counselor Haggerty? Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
thank you. Anything else? Oh, the next meetings. We said we would meet on the 30th instead of Christmas Eve. I obviously don't want to meet on Christmas Eve, and also the 30th allows us to pick up any last-minute bills that should be paid in the year of 2003. And I thought we might start at 5 o'clock because there will be several interviews that we will be doing. Tentatively, let's set it for 5. We'll do interviews and then the work session afterward. If that's okay with you? And, public comment? Anyone like to speak tonight?
So you're gonna come, you got one more meeting. I knew you had one more.
Yeah. I got one more,
All right.
but this is my last one, ladies.
Anybody at all? No? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
Before
adjourn.
you adjourn, I think our 2 new members are in the audience. Dave, would you stand up, please? I'd like to introduce you. He's the next town board, and Carol Abbott, she's the new, these are the 2 new people that'll be here after the first of the year.
Yes, I've already invited them to come to the next meeting and to participate in the interviews.
The next,
Because they will be making the appointment, so, happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Oh, how pretty.
oh, boy.
We will go to the microphone, but we'd like to take this opportunity to give these things to Rose Anthony for her long and faithful service to the town of Granby.
No kidding. Really?
Speech?
Thanks.
Speech.
What did I do right?
We were here for 15 years, that was what.
How many,
they all
has it been
come,
15
eh?
years? That's great.
Huh? Oh. To Rosie, this is just a little way for us to say thank you for caring about the people of the town of Granby for the last 15 years. Great, I love it. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Sometimes. But it's a time to quit and let Carol take my place. And as I told her yesterday, the very, 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 very thing I enjoyed was taking Mr. Fuller to have his picture taken for 50 years, and it's in the hallway. And I enjoyed working with the children. I enjoyed working with the seniors, and sometimes I enjoyed working with the town board, but not all the time. Okay?
You can't expect to enjoy it all the time.
Oh, no. And thank you very much. This is great. Ed, I knew it when you asked me to wear a dress tonight. I thought something was up.
Oh,
I
picture
didn't
of the
listen
town.
when you were showing us.
What?
Look at this one, I want to see the picture.
I did put a dress on last night for you.
I know, I thought I didn't much wear that.
You want me to open the gifts too?
Yes.
I'll tell you, we've had some really good times over the years.
This is great. To Rose Anthony for 15 years of dedicated service. She's been a true voice of the people and will be greatly missed. Thank you. It's very nice. I really appreciate this.
Mike had that made up for you.
Mike French,
Yes, for all that you've done to help him.
thank you very much, and I will miss some things. Thank you.
It's very nice. David, I'm sorry, I didn't buy you a flower. Can I shake your hand? 4 years, and they went fast. It seems like just the other day that you were starting, and
We should call it fitness, nice job.
we certainly wish you very well in your
Yep.
venture.
Yes, well, looking forward to it.
Are you, when do you know
Yeah,
yet?
it's looking closer and closer all the time, so look forward to that endeavor, so. And I'll still be at town board meetings, I mean, if I'm here, I'm gonna be here, so. I
Well,
mean, you need on both sides of the bench here.
who knows? By the
Thank you.
time you get back, there may be an empty chair there.